Hi, my name is Tuvia Brander, and I have the pleasure of serving as the rabbi of the Young Israel of West Hartford in Connecticut, and the honor of being a member of the executive committee of the RCA. As I have the opportunity to share some words of Torah with you today, of course, our hearts and minds are with our brothers and sisters who are in the midst of Shiva for their loved ones, as well as with the family of Detective Seals and Miguel Rodriguez, all who we mourn after last week's tragic shooting in Jersey City. May our learning and our tefillot be an aliyah to their neshama, and may our tefillot and our learning and our communal thoughts be a comfort to their families. Our Parshat Vayeshev, picks up right where last week left off and lays out really the groundwork for the rest of the biblical narrative and Jewish history. As we begin the sequence of events that eventually lead the Jewish people's descent to Egypt, we learn from a very early age that Yosef's brothers are, of course, responsible for selling Yosef to Egypt. This idea is reinforced throughout our liturgy, and in particular in the Asarei Harugei Malchut, the 10 martyrs that we say on Yom Kippur. But if you look at the verses themselves, it becomes a little less clear. And as you investigate our Parsha, there seems to be a number of different parties that mix in. Of course, the brothers are present. There's also the Ishmaelim, the Midyanim, the Madanim. And the question becomes, who sold Yosef into slavery? Who pulled Yosef from that pit? Who's the they that the Pasuk describes as selling Yosef to the Ishmaelim? That is our Parsha's million-dollar question, or dare I say, 20 silver coin question. Rashi simply reassigns the pronouns associated with Yosef being drawn from the pit. And they drew him from the pit, they, of course, being the brothers. The brothers sold Yosef into slavery. All the other different bands of travelers and traders listed in the verses merely add insult to injury, as Yosef is bartered from hand to hand like a simple commodity, from the brothers to the Midyanim, from the Midyanim to the Ishmaelim, from the Ishmaelim to the Egyptians, and maybe even a couple of steps along the way. The Rashbam, Rashi's grandson, the 12th century Titan of Pshat, asserts radically that the brothers never sold Yosef. They wanted to. They planned to sell him to the Ishmaelim, but a band of Midyanim, a band of merchant men from Midyan, happened upon Yosef in the pit first. They swooped in, extracted him from the pit as their own slave, and sold him to the approaching caravan of Ishmaelim. From there, Yosef made his way down to Egypt. It is actually the Midyanim that pocketed the infamous 20 shekels profit from Yosef's sale. According to the Rashbam, Reuven's discovery of an empty pit, of a Yosef-less pit, was a shock and surprise to all the brothers, and their total silence was just another sign of the brothers' complete callousness and complete indifference for Yosef's situation. According to the Rashbam, the brothers never sold Yosef. It's remarkable to think we grow up our entire lives learning that the brothers sold Yosef into slavery, and maybe they really didn't. But I think at the heart of the story, at the heart of really either of these interpretations, still remains a far more important question. Why is the Torah, at such a critical and dramatic moment, so intentionally, deliberately vague? Why is the story presented in this way, strewn in mystery and ambiguity, unclear, allowing for these radically different interpretations? And I believe the Torah is telling us that the answer as to who per se sold Yosef into slavery, who did the physical deed, really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether the brothers actually pulled Yosef out of the pit and handed him to the merchants, or simply set the stage and allowed it to happen. In either way, the brothers' guilt is conscious. At the core of this critical narrative is the recognition that our lives cannot be the sum of our transactional activities, that our lives are more than the cause and effect of our decisions. Yes, of course, we are responsible for our actual choices, but the Torah demands so much more. Our lives are a mosaic of experiences, of environments that we cultivate. And they are the result of dynamic and sometimes ambiguous atmospheres and settings that we purposely promulgate, create, foster, and protect. And even when a singular action may be beyond our control, Maybe even without our knowledge, we are responsible and we are culpable because we created the underlying environment, the atmosphere that made it possible. The Rashbam reminds us that while the brothers may not have actually sold Yosef into slavery, it makes little difference because they were truly responsible. As their actions, their behaviors engendered an environment of callousness, of apathy towards another person's life, towards their own brother, an environment that allowed for Yosef to be hauled off and sold into slavery. They were responsible. We have that responsibility as Rabbanim, as community leaders, a responsibility that really each and every individual carries. We have the awesome power to help cultivate and foster environments whose impact influences way beyond our immediate actions. And it's up to us. It's up to us to decide what sort of society we want to help cultivate. One that demonizes difference, one that vilifies those who we may even sharply disagree with, one that scoffs at serious religious commitment, or one of love, one of respect, one of tolerance, of kindness, of growth, of spiritual ascent. The Torah is explaining to us that what is more important than our specific actions is the role we play in creating the culture that envelops those actions. That we have an unbelievable opportunity to create a culture that promotes the values and ideals that we aspire to, that percolates way beyond our immediate surroundings, in our homes, in our shuls, in our boardrooms and offices, on the street and in the market. In the end of the day, the Torah de-emphasizes who actually sold Yosef to focus us on who's responsible for enabling it to occur and to remind us that we always must be mindful of that responsibility, of that opportunity, of that incredible power. Thank you and Shabbat Shalom.